All right, so welcome back. And today we are entering a whole new section in our MATLAB programming tutorial, which is the MATLAB code editor. All right, this will cause us to go a certain step up. All right, ever since we've been doing this course up until now, we've been writing all our codes right here on the command window. All right, and the command window enables us to do one command at a time. All right, you take a command, you write the command, and then MATLAB has to execute it before you write your next line of execution, right? So I have to write, for example, x is equal to 2, right? Then before writing the next, y is equal to 2. So what happens here is that I can't really write code for a project, all right, in a way that I can edit the code, all right, in a way that I can save the code to use it for a later purpose, in a way that I can share the code with whosoever I want, right, and it can be a continuous project somehow. So this is where the code editor comes in. All right, so it's time for us to actually write code, run code that we can save and come and continue at a later purpose. All right, write code that we can use at a broader level. Okay, code that anybody can use. So for that, we will need to go to the MATLAB editor. Now, to open the MATLAB editor, you have a plethora of ways. All right, you have several ways. So the very first way I want to show you is just to come right here and click on new script. You click on new script right there, the editor should open. All right, so this is the editor. But before we present the editor, I want to show you a second way of opening that. You can simply come to your command window and then type edit, and it should do practically the same thing. All right, come on, behave yourself, MATLAB. I don't have time. Good. So that's that. All right. The other thing you may want to do is maybe to come here to new. All right, and then click on script. But that's long, right? When script is there and everything is there. So that's that. Those are three different ways in which you can open your MATLAB editor. All right. So you'll see the title right here. Okay, editor. It is the code editor. So now, on this blank space you see right here, all right, you can write MATLAB code exactly the way we've been writing it so far in the command window. But what you should know is that MATLAB reads your code the way you read a book. All right, it will read your code from left to right, bottom to top. Okay, the way you read the book, and MATLAB will execute each line as it is going. So when you write your code, you're giving MATLAB a set of instructions. You start with the first, then the next, then the next, then the next, till where you want it to reach. All right, but you know that MATLAB will have to execute it progressively. What you have up here are the different menus that we shall be exploring. I should say this now, that here is just an introduction to the MATLAB editor. Many of the features of the MATLAB editor we shall be seeing as we are progressing in the course. So for example, you have this right here that tells you the status of your code somehow. All right, identifies the possible errors. They may be major, they may be minor, right? There may be errors that will prevent your code from executing. There may be simple warnings that are not according to the standards of writing codes. There may be simple instructions on how you can make your code more efficient, and etc. We shall see more of that as we are going. But you should know that when this color here is green, it means that you wrote your code well. All right, your code basically is well written. It doesn't mean your code has no mistakes when it comes to execution, but your code will run. Okay, your code will run, but maybe during runtime it may have some problem. So that's not a certitude to say your code is perfect, but it will run. All right, it will run if it's green. There is the orange symbol, right? So for example, if I say R is equal to T and I press enter, and then I continue writing, are you seeing that there is this orange symbol? It's a warning. Okay, that tells me something that we've not seen up until now, to terminate my line of instruction or my token with a semicolon. All right, for better efficiency. So if I put a semicolon here, then that disappears. All right, but This color right here, this orange color, is not to tell me that my code will not execute. It's just to say my code will be less efficient, all right? And the warning comes in different forms, okay? So that will be different, for example, for something like, let me just go a little bit ahead of myself. Uh, just a little bit, all right? Don't be afraid you don't understand that. Okay, if I have this on the other hand, here is red, as you can see. Okay, the red color there implies your code won't run. Don't waste your time. Okay, that is a no-go zone. It won't run. Okay, your code is not according, it won't run. It won't run. There is a major there is a major syntax error somewhere you ought to correct. Okay, and in this case it's just to put something like an end there. So many times MATLAB is very, very interactive. Many times if you just put your cursor where the mistake is, all right, it will give you the message of what you should do. An end might be missing, as you can see here. All right, it's either here or you can come right this way. Okay, it tells you line 1 exactly. These are the lines right here. You have line 1, line 2, line 3, and this is the way they usually count. My code is this number of lines of code. All right, but you either put your cursor here and it will tell you exactly the mistake, or here. So here it tells you the end is lacking. All you need to do is just to put the end and it disappears. So there are a lot of these things that we shall be seeing as we are going in the course. All right, this is just an introduction to the MATLAB editor, and we shall be seeing some things that we can do now with the MATLAB editor following the previous notions that we've learned so far. So for now, I just want to write something and then get MATLAB to execute it. All right. So let's write now what we had. I can now write x is equal to 2. And then without having to need to execute, I can write y is equal to 2. All right. And then without having to need to execute, I can write z is equal to 6, for example. These are all different lines of code. All right, so when you run this, MATLAB will execute this without you having to retype it all the time. And all of this, you will need to save it, all right, before running it. It means that this code now is yours and it is reusable at any given time till you would like to use it. So we will see that right now. So before running the code, the first thing you want to do is to save it. And to save it, you just need to come and click right here on save. But you must not save before running, actually, because MATLAB somehow automatically saves when you want to run. So you can come right here to run, and you see the instruction there. It is save and run, F5, right? Okay, so you will come and click on this green button right here. All right, and it should ask you to save. All right, so saving now will take you to the current document in which you are in your MATLAB. All right, and let's save it to first editor code. So the name you give to your functions or to your scripts, all right, to your code, many times resembles, should follow the same laws as the name that you give to your variables in MATLAB. All right, so it should not start with a letter. Okay, they should not be. It's not recommended that you put space somehow at the level of things like the compiler and things like that. It will not be very good that you put space, and yeah, all of that. All right, we'll see that when we're talking about functions and things like that. So first editor code, let me just save it like that. Okay, so now it has run, but you can't just see it. The results of the execution of the code editor are always apparent in the command window. All right, so the command window from now henceforth will become a screen for us to see our results. Okay, not graphic result, because when it comes to graphics we have a figure window and we will see that in future, but for now the command window will be the place where we see our results. So you see that the variable x, y, z have been created here, all right, and the results of all those execution, this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 2, are now appearing here, and right here is our code. All right, so what does it mean? It means if I close this right now, the editor, okay, I can find my code right here on this path. This path here is very important. Make sure that you're always on the correct path here where you want to save your file in your computer before saving the file right there. Okay, and if I want the file, all I need to do is just double click on that, and the file opens with exactly what I wrote therein. Okay, as you can see, x equals to y equals to z equals 6. So this is a project that I can continue, okay, writing on progressively right up to where it pleases me. All right, so we'll continue with the editor in the next tutorial, but as of now, what I want to do is just to give you a little thing, right? In MATLAB, it is not recommended to end your code the way you're seeing that, right? Because when you don't put the semicolon like that, what happens is that your code will be echoed, all right, on the MATLAB editor. So let's run this code, and before that, let me put a CLC here. So you should understand that you first of all do CLC, which means you clear the screen, then you do x equals to 2, then y equals to 2, then z equals to 6, all right? So let me run that. And this time around, I don't need to save again, all right? Because the file has already been saved. MATLAB knows where to save my information. So now it will just run the code. It will just save in that file that I first saved, then run the code, all right? So if at any time you're writing your code and you need to save without running your code, all right, just come and click right here on save and it will do the job. Great. So let's see the execution. So what will you notice? You have y is equals to 2 and z is equals to 2. X have been created, all right, but you don't see X appearing right here. Why? Because we've placed the semicolon. We've placed a semicolon in front of it, all right? So when you put the semicolon, it executes the code. It does what you want it to do, but it doesn't just echo the answer on the command window. And many times this is what we need, all right? You need to echo your answer on the command window if you want to see the results of a particular variable without having to use fprintf or display and all the like. You can do that just to show a particular result, but clean code requires that you always put a semicolon at the end of every line of execution. All right, so a lot to say on this. This was just an introduction, and we'll continue in the next tutorial where we will write a specific line of code, all right, that requires some input and then display some output so that you start seeing where we were going with all of that hoity-toity we've been seeing so far. All right, so see you in the next one. Bye bye.